Hi, I'm Nelson DeMille, the author of The Gatehouse, which is a sequel to one of my earlier novels, The Gold Coast. And we are here in Oheka Castle, which was one of the famous Gold Coast mansions built in 1919. And this is one of the last of the surviving grand mansions of the Long Island Gold Coast. How these mansions play into my book is that my book is set in contemporary times, but there are sort of flashbacks to the Jazz Age, the Gilded Age, and the Roaring Twenties, the 1930s, the Depression, and World War II. It's sort of a generational novel. Both of them are, the Gatehouse and the Gold Coast. And these mansions play a part. They become the ambience of the book. So I think it's fitting that we be here and take a look at this place. The Gold Coast was written in the period involved was the early 1990s. When I first started researching it, the late 80s, a lot of the people who actually lived in these mansions in the 1920s were still alive. And there were still people around who were sort of like living history. But when I wrote The Gatehouse 18 years later, most of these people were gone, and I had to rely for my research on mostly my notes from the Gold Coast and also other sources of, books and local histories, that type of thing. And The Gatehouse is set in June of 2002, the post 9/11 world. And there was such an incredible change between 1990, when the Gold Coast came out, and the Gatehouse in 2002. And that 18-year period was probably as momentous to America in some ways as the period through the 1920s to the 1930s and through the Depression and World War II. So, Long Island, being very old, very settled, 1630s by the Dutch, has seen a lot of history. And I try to work some of that history, even the Dutch history, into the book itself. And this sequel does bring us up to almost contemporary times, the post 9/11 world of June 2002. This story begins 10 years after the original story, and we see the characters reassemble, so to speak. They've scattered in the last book, they've gone to different parts of the world, and now, for a variety of reasons, they have come back. The main reason is one of the characters from my original book is dying, and she's an old family retainer, and they're all there to attend her imminent funeral. But this is how we assemble the cast of characters again, and they pick up their lives and they pick up the story where it ended 10 years before. Ultimately, I think this is a book about the American dream, but very different viewpoints on the American dream. Old families with lots of money who are in decline, mafia who are also in decline in many ways, and new people coming into this area to kind of grab a piece of history and of a way of life that really has vanished 20 or 30 years ago. What I hope people get out of this book is a little bit of American history, but given in an entertaining way. Generational novels teach us and instruct us at the same time they entertain us. And I think that's what this book is about. It's about not only who we are, but where we're going. There is a peek into the future in this book, as most good generational novels have. We know that these people's lives are not going to end with the book, and they're going to go on. And I think a lot of my readers, I know they did this on the Gold Coast, imagined a future. They imagined the characters, where they went, what happened to them afterward. So there may indeed be another sequel to The Gatehouse.